Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for appearing today, in person no less. Taking the third paragraph from your submission, I just want to put it on the record and have a talk about that in terms of small business awareness. You said, quote, "We have heard from stakeholders that vital equipment and software can still rely on 3G networks, including those relating to record keeping, accounts, bookings, payroll, telephones, FPOS, security systems, cameras, asset tracking tools, surveying equipment, surveying instruments, water and environmental monitors, medical alerts, and many of the wireless operating systems on farms, and fire alarms we've heard
and
today."
Security systems, Senator, and point of sale technology. Yeah.
Yep. So some of this equipment can be expensive and must be sourced from overseas companies with extended waiting lists. We heard that yesterday from the surveyors at Cooma. So you also go on to say, additionally, some 4G-enabled devices, including emergency alert systems, have elements or functions that are powered by 3G, which we've heard repeatedly. Then you say, users may be unaware of these components until they stop working. Could you elaborate on that? Because I happen to agree with you. People don't know the complexity of what's working in their businesses these days.
Yeah, and Senator, through the Chair, what we have observed is businesses, small and family businesses, using capability where there is a communications link but unaware that it may be a 3G link. So the focus on the equipment's functionality might not trigger, oh, there's a communications dimension to this. And you've touched on some of those, that rather eloquent submission, perhaps. But so that's what we were quite concerned about. So in our role as trying to advocate and draw attention to that concern and encouraging small and family businesses to turn their mind to this, given it's not a handset, a phone, but it's an embedded communications capability with a 3G chip in the side. We were just saying, look, please check this stuff out. Otherwise, the first you know about it may well be when it just stops working. And, you know, if you're on a large agricultural property and you're controlling gates remotely or monitoring water levels in your dams or microclimates, or you're tracking assets, trucks for a freight company, you wander up to a vending machine and you go to pay for a Pepsi Max and nothing happens. Or a security system that might be looking after your premises, and all of a sudden there's no link back to the base station, no remote observation capability. You might think, what's going on here? And so what we've tried to do is just raise awareness of this as a possibility that people should turn their minds to, beyond the evidence you heard earlier in the day about the handsets themselves, Senator.
Is this something that a telco should be doing?
Well, we've encouraged the telcos to step up and be more frank about where this technology is embedded. There are a number of websites, but even those websites, the Mobile Telecommunications Association website, a good resource, but focuses very much on the handset. It doesn't go very far at all into these embedded 3G applications, where it's quite a secondary piece to what the kit is designed to do. But if it's not there, and you would have heard from the surveyors, Senator, the total station using 3G will just not work. You're not thinking about that when you're looking at the functionality of that total station, just as if you're running a transport business and keeping track of where your trucks are, or you've got a point of sale and we're trying to work out, if we are able, just how many of these pay pads, you know, you walk up with a card and pay, actually have a 3G chip as the comms back to open the gate at a car park or to pay for a vending machine purchase. So it's been really hard to work out how deep that is. My sense, and it's only a sense, is those most likely to know are the telcos, because someone's paying for the use of that spectrum. And may I suggest the Senate might encourage the telcos to have a look at who they're billing for 3G use, and go back and say, well, you've obviously got, you know, 1,800 vending machines coming through your billing system. Maybe get in touch with the vending machines and play a role in helping to identify that capability provider that's got 3G as its comms link, but that communications isn't the primary focus of the kit being used in small and family businesses.
Thank you. Your recommendation number 1 says the Australian government and affected industries should engage in a targeted education scheme. So that would imply to me that it's not currently targeted or not effective.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure what it is, Senator. We've been flabbergasted about how limited the awareness is. I can't recall, but it'd be in the dozens of media interviews that I've done, particularly on regional and rural radio, trying to raise awareness of it. We've put material out through social media and the print media, and people have gone, wow, I didn't know about that. We've heard other stories where people with handsets have been getting engaged by the telcos and maybe dealing with that. Hey, your 3G handset's not going to work soon, you might want to do something about it. Maybe not seeing that as a great priority, but that's the more immediate one. We're just concerned about these embedded uses of the technology that could really compromise the businesses and family enterprises.
So the themes that come through your submission are the complexity,
yes,
and the unawareness of that complexity. So I might be a small business owner who has a 5G phone, whatever this is, 5G phone. So I'm right, I don't need to worry about that. But my business is riddled with embedded devices that I'm not aware of.
You might be selling miniature goats at regional shows, and you've got a mobile FPOS machine. You might not know. You might be using that to monitor the microclimate in your vineyard. You might not know. Gates opening, refilling water troughs, tracking assets around the place. They're the sorts of things in your security system. And you just might not know because the focus of that kit is not the comms link. That's kind of in the background. It might not trigger.
So last question, Chair.
Yes, sir.
You're recommending that the inquiry report stress the need for improved communications to develop awareness of the embedded devices in particular?
Yes, sir.
And also, the question is, who should wear the cost of that? Surely it should be the telcos, not the taxpayer, not the government doing it.
Well, I think the telcos have got an important role here. I understand and respect their motive to make the highest and best use of the spectrum that's available. But I would have thought supporting a transition would have been a commercially reasonable thing to expect of them. And also the fact that they're the ones billing people who are using 3G capability in whatever form it might be, they're also the most likely to know where these applications are. So I'd be encouraging them to step forward and lean in at those levels.
In your role, you're aware of many problems and,
yes,
and you get around. So it would, and if you're shocked at the level of unawareness, then surely that needs a call for delaying or deferring the shutdown of 3G.
Possibly. I was asked on regional radio about that. To be honest, Senator, I said if we're just going to do more of the same, perhaps not, because nothing will change. But if there's a different approach to raise awareness and engage with, well, from my perspective, small and family businesses that are using kit with that embedded technology, there's a different approach than a window of time to enable that to be effected, I think is credible. But I did say on radio, if we're just going to leave it as it is and hope people, just become aware of it through serendipity, then maybe extending the time frames.
From your list of devices, we can't do that.
Well,
it's going to be catastrophic.
Yeah.
It's like Y2K in reverse. The problem with Y2K was tiny. It wasn't really a problem, but the hype was huge. In this case, the problem is huge and potentially catastrophic, but the talk is minimal.
That sounds like I'll take that as a comment, Senator. Thank you.
Thanks, Chair.